Samsung Galaxy S7 review, the best Android phone ever. Period. Samsung needs no introduction, it's one of the two leading smartphone and mobile brands in the world, sitting at the top alongside Apple, and the most successful company in the Android device space. Likewise, the Samsung Galaxy S series, now in its 7th generation, should be very familiar to most as the firm's flagship, the best of the best that it has to offer, cutting-edge design, and all the latest high-grade tech. The Samsung Galaxy S7 is a bit of a curious iteration, however, in the sense that by many accounts it is proving very popular already, selling like the proverbial hotcakes, you might say. That's curious because, truth be told, it is not enormously different from 2015's Galaxy S6 in many ways, and that handset didn't do so well. So what's so great about this year's revamp? That's something we aim to find out in this serialist review, so join us on a multi-stage journey as we live with and explore the features of the latest Samsung Galaxy S over the coming days. Samsung Galaxy S7 review, design. It's fair to say that design-wise the Galaxy S7 is near identical to 2015's Galaxy S6, so anyone expecting some major visual overhaul may be in for a disappointment. But, with that said, I don't think a repeat of the design is a bad thing. For whatever reason the Galaxy S6 didn't sell so well, but I find it pretty hard to believe the design was in any way a factor in this large-scale shunning. Last year's Galaxy S6 design was the first time Samsung had implemented a metal and glass premium build on a flagship model, and, just so that there's no confusion here, I won't mince words, it made every Galaxy handset that came before it look like crap. So I for one am very glad to see it make a return for the Galaxy S7. The matte finish metal surround has a enjoyably high-end look and feel to it. You really do get that satisfying cold steel feeling when gripping the device, and it makes the Galaxy S7 have a rigid and sturdy presence during operation. It's solid, in other words. I must confess that I was quite surprised when I first picked up the phone. I can only describe my immediate reaction is that I'd describe it as chunky. Although I acknowledge this doesn't feel entirely fair, it remains something I can't quite get away from. To be clear, I don't see this as a negative factor, and also, the Galaxy S7 is not a thick, awkward, or heavy phone by any means. It simply has a heftier look and feel when actually using it than I expected, but I find this reassuring and it remains far from being cumbersome in any way. I particularly like the measurement Samsung has gone with for the edge-to-edge width for the handset when held in the hand in profile. It's just really comfortable and easy to hold. The join from the curvature from the back panel into the surround has also been well executed and does help with grip while also making the phone look thinner and more refined on its edges. The only minor downside there is it makes the top and bottom edges look a little bit disproportionately chunky by comparison, but this is a minor gripe. The antenna bands have again been nicely concealed in the top and bottom of the surround, while the power and volume keys are well positioned on either side of the handset for easy operation with either hand using the thumb and index finger. The curved back panel design contrasts the flat front and mirrors the curved display front of the Galaxy S7 Edge and certainly gives things an elegant appearance, and both front and back panels have a particularly neat join with the metal surround. There's no chance of fitting a credit card in between. As with all glass-backed phones, particularly like this one with a dark color finish, fingerprints do show up and spoil things a little, if that bothers you, but realistically this isn't enough to damn an otherwise fantastic looking bit of kit. Plus, if you really hate fingerprints, just get a white or gold one and you won't even notice them. The display bezels are nicely thin so that the front fascia is mostly screen, 72.1% display to body ratio, in fact, always a good look, while on the rear the only disruption to the sweeping expanse of curved glass is the now familiar softened square camera port, flanked on one side by a dual LED flash module. This setup is not quite flush, but it must be said it's close, probably one of the more unobtrusive camera ports on the current market. One of the key differences between the Galaxy S7 series and its Galaxy S6 counterparts is the reintroduction of waterproofing for the latest generation. It's quite impressive that Samsung has managed to reintroduce this feature that was present on the plastic Galaxy S5, lost aboard the metal Galaxy S6, and then reintroduced to the metal Galaxy S7 in only a single product cycle. Of course, such a feature is great to have because of the peace of mind it offers. You can use your phone in the bath or near a swimming pool absolutely carefree. It's something that goes unnoticed a lot of the time, but once you've had this feature in a phone you're unlikely to want to go back to anything that won't survive a dunk in the wet stuff and gives you that freedom not to care or even think about such mishaps. Also bonus points for Samsung having implemented this via internal nano coatings, meaning there are no horrible rubber grommets or fiddly port covers to contend with every time you want to plug in a charger or set of headphones, and you don't have to worry about forgetting to seal the phone properly to keep it waterproof either. Lastly, on the subject of design, there's the physical controls on the front of the phone, a fingerprint scanner home key flanked on each side by capacitive Android controls for multitasking and navigation. On reflection, I think I prefer on-screen controls myself, although I do get that if you're going to have a fingerprint scanner this is probably the best setup, not keen on those rear-mounted ones, and although I'm not fond of the capacitive keys, having just these two on screen without a home button would probably have looked weird. Regardless, this is again another minor gripe and not enough to sour me on the rest of the phone. I think it's quite telling that any criticism I can come up with is a minor nitpick and I still like the phone regardless.